Star Wars The Bad Batch is the fourth animated series by Dave Filoni and Lucasfilm to do with the Star Wars franchise. The series follows Clone Force 99, otherwise known as The Bad Batch. The show opens on the planet Kalar, where they meet Depa Billaba and her apprentice Caleb Dume. Shortly after, Order 66 is activated, and Depa Billaba's troops start firing on her and Caleb Dume. This results in Depa Billaba's death as she tells Caleb to run. This happens, and then Bad Batch try to help Caleb escape. However, what if I told you this wasn't originally how it went down, and might actually be worse than how it originally went down? Star Wars Rebels was an animated TV show by Lucasfilm and Dave Filoni that released originally from 2014 to 2018, following the Ghost crew through their exploits. One of the main characters of this show was Kanan Jarrus, who in the Series 1 finale we learned his Padawan name as Caleb Dume from the Grand Inquisitor, who you might recognise from the Obi-Wan Kenobi show that's currently out. During this time, we also received a comic titled Kanan the Last Padawan that told Kanan's story from the events of Order 66 onwards. Now, this happened almost 6 years before the Bad Batch and was the original way that his story was told. Just like in the show, the events of Order 66, where Caleb Dume and Depa Billaba took place on the planet Kalar. However, there is quite a few differences. To start with, there was no Bad Batch at this point. I don't think even Dave Filoni had even started considering them at this point. Which means that they weren't there to save Kanan. That was all up to Depa Billaba's sacrifice, which is 100 times more brutal because they had won. Kalar had been liberated from the separatist forces. And when Order 66 was activated, Depa Billaba, Caleb Dume, and the two clone commanders that they were good friends with, Commander Grey and Captain Styles, were celebrating their victory. And this leads in to the tragic events of Order 66, where the Order was activated. And both of them turned on them and started firing down at Depa Billaba and Caleb Dume, who was having a force vision of all the other Jedis being attacked by their clones. This was a horrific event that stuck with Caleb well into adulthood, and it can be seen with how he reacts to the clones in Season 2 of Rebels. See how this actually breaks with what happens in Bad Batch, because why would we be so against clones if the Bad Batch helped save him? Even with Crosshair firing at him, he still had Hunter keeping him safe. The Last Padawan, however, doesn't just end at Order 66. All the panels you're seeing for right now are from the first 2 issues of a 12-issue run. These issues, the remaining issues, show Caleb Dume's life after Order 66 and show how hard he had to fight and how he became Kanan Jarrus. It is an amazing read, and I definitely suggest that you check it out because it's fun to read, gives you good insight to his character, and still works better within Rebels continuity than it does anything else. You can still find Kanan the Last Padawan on Amazon and most certainly your most local comic retailer. The Bad Batch changing the events of the comic showed a huge sign of disrespect for the storytelling that had already come. As Jon Favreau said previously in a Star Wars Celebration interview this weekend, adhering to continuity is the most important thing to do. Unfortunately, Dave Filoni and crew have not done this, and in turn have given us a worse version of events. Hopefully, the rest of the comic is still able to be canon despite the changes.